Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm the Monk, and in today's video this is a review for Crusader Kings 3. Now this game has been out for about a year now. It had been released on PC, but it's recently been released on the next gen consoles. And I finally got my hands on it, so I figured I would do a review for it. It's a game that I've been thoroughly enjoying. I did play it on the PC, I've been playing it on the Xbox, so I figured it would be time to finally do a review. Now this game has been published by Paradox Interactive. This is a grand strategy game and will set you back around £35 depending on where and what you're actually buying this game on. Now, this is probably a grand strategy game compared to nothing you've ever played before. Instead of like going in with tons of armies controlling your troops on a battlefield, or much like Stellaris, creating fleets of armies and controlling them to destroy planets. This one is more about backstabbing, more about intrigue, getting those little daggers in early, collecting information and manipulating the board to your favor. Within Crusader Kings 3, you don't just play as one person, one hero. No. This is a dynasty game. This is about establishing your dynasty to last throughout the ages. And if you start at the earlier settings, you've got about 600 years to kind of carve your slice in Europe. But of course, making sure your dynasty, your family actually make it to the end game, now that is a different story altogether. And speaking of stories, boy, has Crusader Kings 3 got some stories for you. You can play through the ages as famous kings and queens and notables throughout history. You can even be the Pope of the Roman Empire if you choose. You can play as the famous Ragnar Lothbrok's sons and kind of continue the mission that they were on. Or, of course, you could take your time to individually find a lowly little nobleman who has the smallest barony in the whole of the world and take them up from rags to riches. And in my time in playing this game, I found that no two games are ever the same. Regardless, or if you pick the same person, the same country, your game will shape based on your decisions. And that's where the story play, that's where the replayability comes in this game. This certainly is not going to be a game that you complete in 50 hours, 100 hours. This is a game that if you get into it enough, you could quite happily spend thousands of hours in this game, because ultimately there's no real goal, there's no real end to this game. You basically roleplay your own game with your own goals in mind. Of course, like I said, you do get 600 years to kind of do what you want, how you want, and the idea is to basically expand your family. But hey, in one of my playthroughs, I ended up being the Queen of Iceland. I had 3 sons. I was kind of set. I felt that, you know, I had a good knowledge what was going to be happening going forward. But all of a sudden, my son turned on his own sons. My heir turned on his brothers, killing them off. 2 years later, he dies himself of disease, leaving me completely heirless. Me then, as an 86-year-old woman or queen with no heirs whatsoever. I mean, I did not see that happening, but that's just one of the very many random things that could happen to you during your playthrough. So ensuring that your dynasty lasts for hundreds upon hundreds of years, well, that's going to be something that you're going to have to figure out for yourselves. Like I said, recently this game got put onto next-gen consoles. I was a bit concerned that a game of this size wasn't going to translate too well on consoles, but I'm pleased to say this game works impeccably, very, very well, no sort of issues whatsoever. I was very surprised at just how smooth the process was. And hey, I know what you're thinking. This is a very, very big game. How does the game actually handle teaching you the mechanics? Well, I'm pleased to say this game has quite a lengthy tutorial mode. You start off in Ireland and it goes over basically all of the basic things that you need to know when playing this game. Does it go over everything? No, absolutely not. It's kind of impossible. This game is a trial and error game for you to figure out what works, what doesn't work. And there's definitely a few things that you're going to have to source through YouTube or the internet to kind of find answers to fully understand. But I can say, playing through the tutorial a couple of times, because I kind of seriously messed up one playthrough, it does a great job of kind of explaining and working the basic mechanics of the game. That being said, on the downside, you are probably going to need friends that play this game. You're going to have to outsource to get extra information for this game. This is not one of those easy games that you can just pick up and start playing. You are definitely going to need to invest time in this game if you want to be good at it and if you want to enjoy it, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're definitely not going to enjoy your playthrough. But that being said, I think this is a very, very solid game, one I'm glad we finally got. We don't really have too many grand strategy games on console, so I'm really glad that this kind of made it over the mark. And honestly, I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. I can't really fault it. I absolutely love it. I think the price is right. This is a game that you can invest a serious lot of time in. And it's a Paradox interactive game. It's one of those games that are going to be getting a lot of DLCs, a lot of support, and I can see a lot of life in this game to come. This does happen to be the highest rated game of the year at a 9 out of 10, but I think it's very, very well deserved. But if you've enjoyed this review, found it entertaining, or just want to see more Crusader Kings 3 content, don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel. I do plan on covering this game a fair bit in the future. I can see a good amount of tips and tricks, guides, maybe even who to start as, because the choices are kind of endless and there are some absolute gems to be found in there to kind of start your campaign off in. But as I said, I do plan on covering this game quite a bit. So if you're interested, we also have an active and growing Discord. A link for that will be down in the description. I want to get as many Crusader players in as possible so we can kind of grow as a community. And as ever, guys, if you have watched this review till the very end, a big thank you for you guys. Truly, it's one of the best ways to support this channel, and I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment red banana down below as well, just to confuse all those new to this channel. And of course, until next time, guys, happy gaming.